I refuse to take accountability for this hairstyle, and you can't make me. Guess what, guys? Thrive Causemetics released, I believe, a completely new collection of bronzers. They had 2 previously to this, but it was a matte and a shimmer, and so now there are 4. I owned the original matte one, which is called Rhea, and then they sent me a new one of Rhea, which I don't know if it's different from old Rhea. We will see. And then they also have Paloma, which is medium neutral, Camila, which is tan neutral, and Milan, which is deep warm. I thought that it would be a valuable exercise to swatch these against all of my other powder bronzers, because you guys know, while inclusivity is very important on my channel, I also have trouble finding bronzer for my very, very white self. You know, to give you a summary of my bronzer journey, it's just hard to find things that look real on me, because usually they just kind of dial back the saturation in a bronzer, but they typically don't, brands out there don't really do a good job of matching me for undertone a lot of times, and it's hard for me to find things that aren't orange, especially when they have very narrow ranges. So I have ones that I love that do work for me. I've got a bunch of brands sitting. Actually, I don't have that many bronzers, and I only have a few that I really, really like, but I have Ilia, Hourglass, Arrive, Charlotte Tilbury, another Charlotte Tilbury, and 2 Vescas, and I figured why not the Bare Minerals Blonzer just for reference's sake. And I have not cracked these open yet, nor have I swatched old Rhea versus new Rhea, which I don't know if they're different yet. And I figured, since I'm looking kind of flat at the moment, I only have foundation, concealer, powder, brows, and lip gloss on, I figured we would finish up my makeup with some of these bronzers and some other things. So I'm gonna move y'all in so you can see, the detail on my face when I do put this on. We will start with the swatches and kind of and go from there. So let's jump in. Oh, hello, my dudes. How are you? How is everyone? Is the hairstyle better closer up? Or would you rather just close your eyes? The confusing part is I blew my hair out yesterday and I thought that it looked great, and then I slept on it and I have no idea what kind of haunting befell it, but regardless. I'm actually going to do like a live narration. No, I hate when things are hard to open. Fully can't stand when I can't open a box. Sorry. That went in the garbage can. Unfortunately, I used the garbage can to carry some makeup downstairs, so it went in the garbage can on top of a bunch of actually very good makeup. That, fam, is my chaotic energy in a nutshell. The foundation that I'm wearing is the Kackie. That's 4 for 4. Skin Perfect HD foundation, and I have this in the shade 10W. I'm also wearing the Danessa Myricks Vision Cover as my concealer, and then I went in with my Hourglass Veil setting powder just because it's so good at making sure that, things are about as transfer proof as they can be so that bronzer goes on more smoothly. Let's start by swatching Rhea. Old Rhea versus new Rhea. That's old Rhea and that's new Rhea. What do you think? Ooh, I think that new Rhea is lighter. Oh, that's great. A large part of me, when they released the 4, was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited they're going to not just have deeper tones, but also a lighter shade than Rhea, because I always loved the formula, but I had to be really, really careful with it to get it to not, be too dark on me. But when I got them in the mail and I saw that the lightest one was still called Rhea, I was like, oh, well, okay, I guess that, I'm not going to still have a shade that I love. That appears to be, correct me if I'm wrong, but that appears to be a lighter shade than the original Rhea. So original, new Rhea. Let's commence with swatching the rest of them. Oh, these are nuanced. Do I think that this covers the entire range of human emotion when it comes to bronzers and undertones? No, but they are interesting. So this is Paloma, which is being called medium neutral. Then we have Camila, which is tan neutral. Not maybe the best swatch on my bony wrist, but you can see what we're working with. And finally, we have Milan, which is the deep warm shade. And I am on Thrive's PR list. So, I mean, obviously they sent them to me. I started the video by saying that, but that's why I have all the shades of this and not all the shades of, like, you know, Vesca or something. That is, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, a very interesting bronzer shade because, I mean, I've definitely seen people like Jackie Aina wear bronzers that do lean a little bit burgundy like that, you know? So warm doesn't mean orange on deep skin tones. It can mean something that has a little bit more of like a burgundy to it. So to recap, original Rhea, new Rhea. What did they call this one? Paloma. I was not gonna remember that. Camila, Milan. Now, let's swatch it against my other bronzers that I really like. So I'm actually going to, no, we'll keep them on there because it might be valuable to see where these fall in comparison to some of the deeper shades as well. So I'm gonna start with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. This is in the shade 1 Fair. This is probably the bronzer that I use the absolute most because it is the fairest one that I have ever found. So that is, you know, absolutely no comparison in shade and saturation. It is almost a setting powder for some people, you know? It's so light, but it's a bronzer on me. Then we have Kissed by Rio and Kissed by Santorini from Vesca Beauty. Now, this is also a very, very extensive line of bronzers that I feel like, you know, it's kind of like Fenty in the sense that even for an indie brand, they kind of threw down the gauntlet for having a very good shade range for bronzers, and just being a little bit more informed about the fact that shade ranges should extend, like inclusivity in shade ranges should extend past just basic complexion products and should also be, you know, included in bronzers and blushes and things like that. Can we focus, please? So that was Kissed by Santorini, and then here is Kissed by Rio. Now, Kissed by Rio is lighter than Kissed by Santorini, but the Kissed by Rio has a little bit more of a green undertone to it when I put it on, and actually Kissed by Santorini, even though it is darker, does a better job on my skin of looking natural. So there are at least 2 variables here to consider when it comes to a bronzer, and that is both shade value, shade saturation, and then also temperature. So I will go here. This is Nude Bronze Light from Hourglass, which is another one that just looks really, really nice on me. It's cooler in tone, cooler in temperature than the Charlotte Tilbury, but it's really, really nice. It's really, really good for my skin tone. Arrive, which comes in 2 shades. I will put that right here. And Arrive is also cooler, almost like a bronzer shade. And it is actually, I think, even cooler than the Hourglass. So it works so beautifully. It's a really, really pretty formula. Then we have the, what's it called? Film Star Bronze and Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. Another one that is very, very cool toned. So that's going to be a little bit more contour-esque, but it's also is sparkly, which is not everyone's thing. So that is the Film Star Bronze and Glow. Very, very cool tone compared to everybody else. Never mind, I got rid of the Ilia bronzer. This is the Ilia highlighter. I was like, I didn't think I had it. So that's it. I kind of faked y'all out there. Sorry about that. And just for the sake of being thorough, that's what the bronzer looks like in Kissed by Rose. Kiss of Rose, not Kissed by Rose, Kiss of Rose from Bare Minerals. So yeah, the ones that I wear the most are the Arrive, wait, is that the Arrive? Yeah, the Arrive, the Charlotte Tilbury, and Kissed by Santorini. And then I love the bronzer. I love it. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. So I think that the first thing that I will do is use the new Rhea, because why the heck not, right? And we will see how she goes on. So I do believe that this is lighter. than the last one. And possibly a little bit cooler toned. Definitely really, really good. You know, I've always liked this formula, like I said, but I've had a little bit of trouble having it not go on too dark because it will stamp just a little bit if you're not careful. And when something stamps like that, it's a pretty easy fix. You know, you take something translucent. I'm just using my Well People Bio-Based Baked Brightener, and it'll just kind of pick it up and move it a little bit. And you lose that little ring. All of their stuff has waterproofness to it, all of their powders, and so I feel like there's a trade-off to it. It is so long wearing. Their eyeshadows are incredibly long wearing too, but for that reason you have to be a little bit more careful putting them on, and I'm okay with that trade-off. I just kind of have to remind myself of it sometimes. Yep. I think that that shade is much easier to wear. Much easier to wear than the original Rhea for me. That's so pretty. Incredibly pretty. All right, so I am going to go in with some of my Film Star Bronze and Glow as a contour here. I would love to see them at Thrive put out some contours in this formula as well. They don't really have any proper contours. I'm very casual about my contouring, by the way. I am using a giant brush, I don't care. I'm not like trying to like draw a new face, you know? I'm just trying to accentuate shadows that are already there. Oh, that really made a big difference. Let's also use the highlighter from that palette. Actually like that as a summer bronzer more than I like the Charlotte Tilbury, just because I'm able to get so much more like bronze effect, but it's believable because it's a little bit more cool toned. So I like that. I like that muchly. It just actually looks really healthy and pretty. I'm gonna go in with Rosy, their blush that I haven't pulled this out in a long time, but it's seen a lot of love. And this is a very pink, kind of slightly shimmery blush. And then we will top that with something matte. I hope they release more blush shades as well. They seem to be just expanding all of their shade ranges. And as you might expect, the shimmer that's in this makes this easier to spread than the bronzers because shimmer makes everything spread a little bit more easily. So that's super pretty. Staying with the pink theme, I'm gonna go in with Coral Rose from Wayne Goss. Ooh, has he announced a date yet? I mean, I'm filming this, you know, a few days before it's gonna come out, the video, I mean. So by the time it comes out, I might have already answered my own question, but I wanna know when he's releasing his little bronzer and blush, nope, bronzer and contour palettes. Yeah, that's super pretty. That's super pretty. And like, your girl is looking pretty bronze. That's pretty excellent. So I'm just gonna take Muna here, which is probably my favorite Brilliant Eye Brightener from them. We're gonna go kind of one and done all over my lid here. If you're unfamiliar with the Brilliant Eye Brighteners, they're really awesome because they don't crease. And you can really just like slap them on, you know? All right, I'm gonna zoom through the rest of my makeup real quick and we'll be right back. We'll talk like pricing and anything else that I think is salient about these. Okay, the hair has not improved, but I feel like my face really has. I think I'm going to go with a little bit of clear brow gel here. Get these babies to fluff up a little bit, but I don't want really much more color to them. There you go. So I just put on my regular Thrive eyeshadow as eyeliner, my Thrive mascara that I swear by, a little bit of the Glinda lip gloss, which is like their original glossy lip mate, I think is what it's called, and some Glow face mist. I am loving how this bronzer looks. They've come out with 3 new shades in the Brilliant Eye Brightener as well that are all like nuanced, different shades of like, almost like Muna, basically. So there's Anise, Peely, and Cali that all kind of look like Muna now for like different undertones, which I find to be really fascinating. That'll be another like color theory lesson when I get those. Now, okay. Look naturally sun-kissed year-round with our effortlessly blendable soft matte bronzer now in 4 versatile shades for you to find your perfect match. And it is $32 and you get 0.32 ounces. So I think that comes to like, what? $100 an ounce, something like that. What makes it different? Powered by Blur Effect technology for diffused skin perfecting finish that always looks naturally sun-kissed and seamless. Youth B5 Complex combines hyaluronic acid and vitamin B5 to smooth, hydrate, and replenish moisture. Our silky soft formula's rich HD micropigments provide long-lasting, water-resistant, weightless color. Ultra hydrating, vegan, cruelty-free. Now, it's starting to make me doubt myself. It's starting to make me doubt myself that the original Rhea and the new Rhea are different from each other. Let's swatch that again just to make sure, because I feel like maybe I'm losing my mind here. Like in the pan, you know, tell me what you see. This is the new one and this is the old one. Those are 2 different colors, right? Like I'm not losing my mind. Those are 2 different colors. This is the new one. So it looks almost a little bit deeper, but it's a lot cooler. And it's less pigmented. Right? Right? Oh goodness. I feel like you can tell this one's warmer, the old one. Yes. You guys let me know. I always really liked the old one anyway, but I feel like this is just, it's cooler toned. And for that reason, it's easier for me to put on a lot of it and have it look at least somewhat believable as, you know, something my skin might naturally do. But it is nuanced, and regardless, it does appear that EOS has been phased out, the shimmery one. And I suppose that I am ready to move into some final thoughts. Yeah, so final thoughts. I think that this is a really good leap forward for them. I think that inclusivity when it comes to bronzer shades is something that needs to be part of the conversation. It appears to be more part of the conversation lately, but some brands still have their little fingers in their ears and don't want to talk about it because they claim that, you know, their clientele is only a certain person. But how would you know? Because you can't buy shades that don't exist. So while I think that this is really good, what they have done, I feel like, you know, the shades themselves are probably going to fill a void for some people who haven't been able to find shades in other ranges, specifically the very deep red burgundy one, Milan. But I hope that this is the beginning, because the way that it kind of jumps from a cool fair to a medium neutral to a tan neutral to a deep warm, to me that does skip some undertones and some skin tones, you know, that, you know, for example, Vesca has, and some people have even told me that Vesca skips some skin tones and undertones. And while, you know, obviously this is not a bronzer range that has as many shades in it as a foundation range, although some foundation ranges are only 4 shades, this is definitely a lot more than a lot of brands have, and I do feel like the shades that they did release are very cool, very useful, and are going to satisfy a need for a lot of people. So I hope that seeing those swatches was valuable for you. I hope that I was right that the new Rhea is slightly different from the old Rhea, because I genuinely think I'm going to be wearing it a lot. I like it so much. And if all it did was revive my previous love for the old one, then I guess it did that too. But this looks super natural on me and in like a bronzer way almost. Like I'm really, really into the way that it looks. So yeah. Let me know if you have any other questions or anything down below. I will try to answer them, but I hope that you guys found this valuable for the new bronzer shade release from Thrive. And if you did find it valuable, do give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today, guys. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.